Allison Werder began calling the region home 5 years ago when she moved here to become president of MassLive. Although no longer with the company, she said she and her family are committed to the area, and now the Republican is challenging incumbent Brian Ashe for the 2nd Hampden District State Representative seat. I asked Werder about her focus on tax accountability, paid family leave, and more.
I think competition is good. We haven't had competition for this seat in 6 years, so I think it's about time. I think everyone benefits when a light is shown on candidates and performance. Running as a Republican, I agree, it's not the easiest of ambitions in Western Massachusetts, but I would point out that the seat that I'm running for, the 2nd Hampden, was held by not only Republican, but Republican women for over 50 years. So it can be done, and I'm looking forward to bringing it back.
So do you feel like that legacy works in your favor, or just time to come back to a female in that seat who is also, as you point out, a Republican?
Yeah, I think I respect the legacy. I would love nothing more than to honor it by bringing it back. But today's different. We all know it's a different time, different climate. But I do think people are looking for change. And I think that's what I represent, a change from the status quo.
You came to the area about 5 years ago to become president of MassLive. You've since stepped down from that position. But something I've heard from other leaders who come to the area from outside is that they find it hard to find a foothold here, or maybe be accepted by other CEOs or leaders in the community. What was that experience like for you?
I would say I completely had a different perspective. Whether it was because the job that I had really threw me in, whether it was businesses, current events, politicians, community leaders, or the community that we moved into. I moved here with 2 young children and my husband, and we loved it. We loved it from the time we moved in, and we found it very welcoming, both the business community and the local community. When my job left at MassLive and I was asked to move back down to New York, where I'd come from, it was an easy decision to make. We are here. Our kids love it. My husband loves it. And we found it a very welcoming community.
There were MassLive comments. A variety of people will say never read them. I always read the MassLive comments because I think it's very interesting sometimes what people have to say. There was some criticism in some of the comments about questioning your Republican credentials. When did you become a Republican? Why? Yeah. When and why did you become a Republican?
I've always been a Republican. My background is, I have a mother who was a Republican senator for 16 years. I have a father who was still a Republican elected judge. I grew up in a Republican household, but I will say, I am very much a Massachusetts Republican. I believe in small government, a government that works for the people, not the other way around. I believe in fiscal responsibility. Those are things that I've never been a Democrat. Not that there's anything against Democrats. I've always been a Republican from the earliest days. And I think, frankly, we could use more balance in Massachusetts. And I would look forward to supporting our Republican governor.
So for you, I think also something that's unique about people who've moved to the area from the outside, you have a different perspective. You get that 30,000-foot view, I think, almost right away. Are there things that you've noticed about the legislative process here that you would like to tweak or change if you were elected?
Yes, I think I do agree that I have, both the inside and the outside perspective. I don't take anything for granted. I see the quality of life that we have in Western Massachusetts, and I think it's sometimes underrated and underappreciated. With that being said, I think there are opportunities to do more with this region. I think this idea, I've adopted the, Western Massachusetts gets the short end of the stick more often than it should when it comes to.
Which we hear a lot from legislators in the region.
And I will say, when I first moved here, it sounded like a chip on the shoulder, but since I've been here and experienced it and seen how hard it is to grow a business in Boston with my own efforts to expand my business out there and get some attention, the numbers support it. The reality is the funding formulas are stacked against us. There are things that are needed for Western Mass that it is very hard to get Boston's attention on, and that is my biggest priority in going to this, getting that attention, getting the focus that we need and the investment that we need in Western Massachusetts.
Day one, what would you say you would try to get the most attention for? I know you've talked about East-West Rail, you've talked about economic development, but what would stand out to you as priority one?
Priority one, I think, is, and it's very timely right now, you look at MGM Springfield, right? Just opened. I think most people would say it's been a very successful launch. The city has a good feel, rebirth, the energy, the revenue from that, right? 25 cents on every dollar spent in gaming is going to tax revenue to the state. That money should be coming back here. That money should be coming back to Western Massachusetts. Right now, it is designated in various funds for economic development, education, infrastructure, but it is not regionally designated. That is our money. People are spending it here. we have both the benefits and the drawbacks of having the casino in a backyard. That money should be coming back to Western
What
Massachusetts.
about community mitigation fund money? I mean, I think about West Springfield and Northampton. They're already reaping benefits from that. Does that, you don't count that as coming back?
Separate. That is the negotiated directly with MGM. Some towns negotiated better deals than others, and they can be revisited as we go forward. That is separate. That is directly from MGM to the communities. This is different. This is the tax benefit of having a casino in the first place, the referendum that we wanted the casino. That is the benefit. So it is a separate pot of money, and it is money that should be coming back.
To continue with taxes, I heard you talk about that quite a bit on the campaign trail. More accountability for how and where those tax dollars are spent. But how do you propose getting at that accountability?
Well, I mean, there are some early things, right? Just to show how votes are being cast.
Would you call for a roll call vote?
Absolutely. I think, in the sunshine laws that don't apply to our legislature should. I know that's being investigated, and there's a commission studying that. I would like nothing more than an early support of that when I go into next year.
Because we've talked about it on this show before, but there are still plenty of people out there who don't realize that they can't go on the internet and know exactly how each of their legislators voted for every single vote. But it takes 1/5 of the House to call roll call. Would you be that diligent every single time?
I mean, I come from a media background. I fully, completely, I support transparency. I think it's good for people to know what's going on. I think they should be held accountable. They're working for us. We're paying for their salary. We should know what they're doing. And I think at a minimum, we should know how people are voting. And then I think it should be expanded further. I don't think the committees should be secretive. I think who's on the committees, what's happening behind closed doors, as it's happening more and more on Beacon Hill, that should all be out for the voters to see, and part of the record and part of what people go up to defend or support when they come up for re-election.
Paid family leave is something that you've also talked about on the campaign trail. We saw this legislative session that was approved. We'll start to see that here in Massachusetts 2021. I did have it correct, 2021. But it's being paid for by a 0.63% tax. $800 million is estimated revenue. Do you think that that was the right approach to support paid family leave?
I think that's a great question. I would have liked to have seen paid family leave done legislatively rather than through referendum. Not that I don't support the referendum process. I just think it's complicated. I think there could have been multiple funding sources that supported family leave, again, in concept, and I absolutely support it both as a business leader and a working woman. The tax, I think it's not incredibly onerous, and they phased it out. So we do have, it's not next year. They have a couple years for businesses to figure out how to build it up to. So it wasn't perfect. I think it could have been handled better if it was tackled by the legislature, as I think it should have been. But I'm glad that they came up with a solution.
We're short on time, 30 seconds or so. What do you think the biggest challenge facing this region is?
I think the biggest challenge facing this region is investment. I think we talk about the funding formulas and that they aren't benefiting this region. And I think if you really dig into the numbers, that's true. I think we need our delegation to come together. One person, Senator Lesser has done a good job of getting some of the inequities exposed, but the reality is we need our delegation to be strong, loud, and collective to get the attention of Boston, because they outvote us. They aren't going to just give us things. So we need to be stronger, band together, and prioritize together what Western Mass needs and go get it.